Alright, welcome back everyone. So today we're going to be looking at how you can invest into Boston Dynamics. Now for those unaware, Boston Dynamics focuses on a range of robots. And so for the likes of Spot, the use cases are to explore areas that you wouldn't want a human to enter. And then for the likes of the Atlas, we don't actually know what the use case is going to be at the moment, but we can see from the videos that already they're very powerful with what they can achieve. And so 5 to 10 years from now, we'll probably start to see actual specific examples where these robots can be used within a day-to-day environment. So when I saw these videos, my first thought was, well, how can I purchase into these? If we look at Boston Dynamics, they are a privately held company, and so we can't simply switch over onto Trade212 to invest into the company. But another way to have exposure into Boston Dynamics is to look at some of the other companies out there that have invested into the privately held company. And we can actually see that Hyundai has actually brought Boston Dynamics, which in turn was brought from another company named SoftBank, in a deal worth $1.1 million. So we can see that the South Korean car giant Hyundai has agreed to buy a controlling stake into Boston Dynamics in a deal worth $1.1 million. This was back in late 2020, so it's coming up for almost a year now since this deal took place. And we can see on the Boston Dynamics website that we have Hyundai owning approximately 80% stake in the Boston Dynamics company. And it should be noted that SoftBank is still retaining 20% stake in Boston Dynamics as well. Now, as for the motivations as to why Hyundai wants to buy Boston Dynamics, well, if you look at the process of making vehicles, they're already dealing with semi-automated robotics. And if we quote from them, we can see that they're looking into smart mobility solutions where they're investing more than 50 million over the next 5 years. The next step in Hyundai is of course to have driverless vehicles, and so perhaps buying Boston Dynamics is one of the missing pieces that they need with respect to their vehicle business, but equally they may be expanding out of the vehicle space. Given that they've already invested in future-based technologies, we've already mentioned autonomous driving, but also smart factories, AI, and then all the different use cases for robotics out there. Now you're probably thinking, well, Hyundai is a Korean-based company. How exactly do I invest into a Korean-based company? So we can see the prices here listed in one, with a current price of around £130 per share. And so one way to have exposure into Hyundai is by entering the ticker symbol HYUN, and that's on the Trade212 platform. But more broadly speaking, this ticker symbol lives on the UK stock exchange and it's listed in US dollars. Now we can see that the prices are different, so $43, around the 30-ish pounds or so. And if I go side by side, so a year on Google as well. Now, although we don't have much information because of the Trade212 platform here, if we take a look from late January and then on the graph here, we can see that we have a matching pattern to that on the screen. And so although the prices are different, we are still tracking the underlying company, and that in turn gives us exposure into Hyundai. And then equally with SoftBank. Now, this is a little bit more trickier. The ISA account doesn't support the SoftBank ticker symbol, so I'm just going to switch over into the invest account. And I should have pointed out that Hyundai does provide us with dividends as well, and it's easily accessible within the ISA account. But if you want to work within your invest account, you can search for the ticker symbol and it's available there. And so if I enter SoftBank, we can see that we have 2 ticker symbols listed at different prices as well. Now again, this is just for the Trade212 platform, but something to be very aware of here is that the market that is providing us with the exposure is within the OTC markets. Now I'll talk about this in a future video, but there are sometimes limitations when it comes to trading within Trade212 on the OTC markets. And mainly that's because the type of ticker symbols listed haven't gone through the scrutiny that the likes of the NYSE or London Stock Exchange face. And so some ticker symbols out there can actually lose a lot of value if there is some form of pump and dump scheme that's taking place. And so personally, I'm not going to buy into SoftBank through this approach here. I'm more than happy to buy into Hyundai, given that they have 80% stake in the company. But if you really want 100% ownership in Boston Dynamics, then you can follow both of these companies. And so if you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate your support. Definitely hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and subscribe if you like this type of content. New videos are posted each week, and with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.